There are two different ways in which you can get an off-campus placement.
Just like you, there would be thousands of candidates who would have applied, and all of them would have submitted their resumes. What was the actual process? Like, how many coding rounds happened? How many interviews happened?
So I was completely focused on, okay, I want to do computer architecture, VLSI design. Don't be very serious. Like, I don't think anything is possible without passion.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I make videos related to how you can prepare for your dream company. So I thought that why not bring a person who actually cracked his dream company, Nvidia, and that too off campus. Yes, you heard that right. He did that off campus. He's my college friend, and in this podcast we will deep dive into his journey of cracking Nvidia. He's a super hardworking person and is very sincere towards his work. Do watch the podcast till the end and you will learn a lot from him. This is Vrajesh Patel on Success Stories with Sahil.
Hi Vrajesh, thank you so much for coming. Let's tell the world how you cracked Nvidia. It completely blows my mind seeing the stocks of Nvidia, and you have cracked your dream company. So we are here to share with you guys how actually he went through the whole process and landed up cracking his dream company. So Rajesh, if you could just give a small brief introduction about yourself.
Sure, Sahil. Thanks for having me on your show. I'm Vrajesh. As Sahil said, I have finished my BTech in electrical engineering with minors in computer science at IIT Gandhinagar. And yeah, I'm up to join Nvidia this July.
Cool. So first question which people will ask, that you have cracked Nvidia off campus. So many people comment in my comment section that what should be the procedure to apply for companies when it comes to off campus? Like, how should we get internships and placements off campus? So how you actually did that, if you could explain the whole process from applying and then how you got the coding round link or the interview schedule.
Yes, Sahil. So it's like there are two different ways in which you can get an off-campus placement. One is you have some kind of a referral, or you connect to a person through LinkedIn or some other portal. And another is the many companies have their procedures for hiring new college graduates. So for example, Microsoft, Google, they have Microsoft Research, Google Research. But for Nvidia, it's the Nvidia Next program. So it's not a research-based program like MSR, but they hire for full-time employment through the Nvidia Next program. And I was also one of the candidates who applied for it and got through the Nvidia Next program. So I think these are the two major ways in which people apply for the off-campus placements. And yeah, there are quite a lot of other programs by other companies also. So you can keep an eye on those programs, and yeah, you can crack the off-campus one.
Right. So there are many companies, who run their programs. So you can just visit the career portals and keep a track of which company is running their program, and you can apply there. And obviously, as Rajesh said, that LinkedIn referral is a very good way to get the links of coding rounds and your interviews, because if you know a person, there is a high probability that they will refer you, and there are high chances that you will get opportunities off campus. So obviously you should try to build your network on LinkedIn so that you can actually ask people for referrals. Okay,
Yeah.
but as you said that you were also one of the candidates who applied at Nvidia program now, but just like you, there would be thousands of candidates who would have applied, and all of them would have submitted their resume. So how did you get your resume shortlisted, and what was special about your resume? And when they're designing their resume, what all they should keep in mind while designing their resume?
So once you visit their Nvidia Next portal, you will find out that the job requirements are so and so. So this time they had some CPU verification, GPU verification jobs, which is completely VLSI design, and GPU architect jobs, which is computer architecture and stuff. So knowing that, I was happy because I didn't find like there weren't only software jobs in their portal. There were both software and hardware jobs, and I am more inclined towards computer architecture and stuff. So I was very clear in my mind that okay, I'll design my resume so that it's more like highlighting the computer architecture part. And one more plus point that I had was I had research background in computer architecture and VLSI design. So I think that also helped me a bit. Since I knew that I am applying for a hardware role, I didn't keep anything in my resume which was like machine learning or software, anything like that. It was all hardware. So it's important to figure out which job role fits for you the best, and based on that you have to design your resume.
I guess that's a good point, because if your job description is software and you are putting projects related to hardware in your resume, that would not work. And if your job description is something related to hardware and if you're putting things like software development, that would also not work. So knowing about the job description is very, very important. That was a good point. Now moving on, let's say you got shortlisted, your resume got shortlisted, then what was the actual process? Like, how many coding rounds happened, how many interviews happened, and which were the questions which were asked to you? If you could briefly discuss about that.
Yeah, so once the resumes are shortlisted, there are 4 rounds in total. So the first 2 rounds are online tests, and the next 2 rounds are online interviews. In the first round, they have 60-minute test in which they ask questions on digital design, maths like PNC probability stuff, then a bit of VLSI design and C++ questions. Like, it's not actual coding question. It's like they have given a piece of code, and you have to tell what will be the output of that code. So that's more or less the first round. The first round is fairly simple. Like in digital design, whatever we study in our university, right? The flip flops and counters and all that stuff. Like straightforward questions, no twist and turns there. So yeah, first test is fairly simple. Like they will ask around 20 odd questions, and you are given 60 minutes. So around 3 minutes for each question. Then in the second test, it's a little bit advanced as compared to the first test. So that's why they call it advanced test. And there they ask questions on digital design, computer architecture, VLSI design, and again coding, like guess what will be the output of the code kind of questions. So here the difficulty level of questions is a little bit higher than what was there in the basic test. So, and also this test is of 50 minutes and not of 60 minutes, and they ask 16 or 17 questions. So here the questions are not pretty straightforward. Like, you won't be directly given a counter and you have to tell what will be the output after some amount of clock cycles. Rather, you will be given some story and you have to figure out, okay, what will be the design, and then you have to tell what will be the how many flip-flops will be there in that design and things like that. Then you will be given some like questions on computer architecture, wherein it won't be like given a pipeline, how many cycles it will take to execute and things like that. They'll frame a good story and they'll ask a question. Then they'll ask questions on GPUs. Like, it's not actually GPUs. You should know the fundamentals of computer architecture. So they'll ask, like, you have 3 GPUs running in parallel, and what will be the throughput and things like that. So yeah, and apart from that, I think maths part is a little bit more important in basic test, and computer architecture part is more important in advanced test, because in basic test I think 6 or 7 math questions were asked, which were pretty logical and they were prone to errors. Like, you can make errors if you are not up there 100%. And in advanced test, the computer architecture questions were slightly difficult as compared to the other parts. So yeah, once now you are shortlisted after the advanced test, then you will have two interviews. One is the technical, and another interview is tech plus HR. So in the technical interview, it was like a 1-hour interview wherein they asked questions. They started from my resume. I had a publication. They asked me to explain that publication. So it's very important to know each and everything you write in your resume. Then they'll ask. Then he directly asked me that since your background is more on computer architecture and we are from the VLSI design background. So what should we ask you? So I said that I know these topics, and then one of the interviewers asked me that, do you know DFT and all? So I said, no sir, I don't have any experience in that domain. So he was like, okay, we'll start with a simple mathematics question, and then he gave me a question on the standard stack question, wherein you have to find balance parenthesis from the open and close curly braces given. And it was not actually a coding question, so I explained them the logic, but then I had to find some probability, and there it got a bit difficult. Then after that question, they moved on to ask a few basic VLSI design questions, and a couple of computer architecture questions on cache and cached memory design. That's where it ended, and at the end they asked me about what are my future aspirations and how will I helpful to their team and things like that. And yeah, that's how the interview finally ended. I didn't think that I did really well in that interview because I messed up on the first mathematics question. But yeah, I was fortunate that I got shortlisted after that interview. Then in the second interview, it was pretty chill as compared to the first interview. Like, the technical guy came, he asked me 5 to 6 computer architecture questions, which are very standard questions if you do a computer architecture course in your university. And the HR person also asked most of the standard questions, a couple of questions here and there, but yeah, that's fine. Yeah, so that was the overall process.
Okay, so as you told that mostly the questions were centered around be it maths, VLSI design, computer architecture, and networks. I think
Not
networks.
much of networks, digital design.
So digital design, computer architecture, VLSI design. So if anyone wants to study these topics, how can they study? Like, what resources did you follow apart from the university courses? Because we studied IIT Gandhinagar, where the courses related to these subjects are relatively good. But if someone is studying from a tier 3 college or tier 2 college where the subjects are not taught better way, so how can they study? Are there any online resources available or any course available which they can take?
Yes, so for computer architecture, I think there is one course by Professor Onur Mutlu from ETH Zurich. So that's a really well-designed course. So if you want to study computer architecture, then you can watch the series of Professor Onur Mutlu, and he actually like keep on updating the course every year. So
Okay.
and there's a bit of research involved in his course. Like, you can skip that part if you don't want to look at it, but yeah, it's a really nice course. Then for I think for digital design and VLSI design, the GFG pages are good enough. I think there's a really good explanation of all the concepts on the GFG pages. Sometimes you won't find very good explanations on some of the VLSI design topics, but if you just Google it up, and then you will find like there is a website called VLSI Chip Verify, if I'm not mistaken. That's also a really good website to understand a few VLSI design concepts. So yeah, I think GFG, this VLSI Chip Verify, and Professor Unur Mutlu's lectures. I think these three things should be more than enough. So yeah, as you rightly said, like in our institute, all these three courses are taught really well. So I didn't have to look too much beyond the stuff. Just for revision, I went to these places. So yeah. Then for mathematics, so American Math Olympiad thing, wherein they put all their Math Olympiad questions on a web page. So I think you can find it out easily. So to practice maths question, you can go there and practice mathematics question.
Okay, if someone wants to crack Nvidia, they will have to put in a lot of effort because going through these resources is a big task. But let's say if someone has gone through these resources and have learned about architecture, VLSI design, and digital design, but then for getting the resume shortlisted, they will have to add some projects, right? So how can they make projects, and most importantly, how can they make unique projects which nobody else has done, or if even if they're copying someone's project, how can they add something new to it?
So I think this is a slightly trickier question for me, because most of the projects in my resume were like mostly research based projects. And apart from that, if someone wants to add something unique, there are a lot of things you can do in intersection of machine learning and computer architecture. So say for example, given ML model, you have to understand the model and you write up your own architecture for that specific model, which outperforms the regular compute units or the state of the art at that time. So that can be one of the possibilities, but it's not that easy. So another thing that you can do is like um, compare it, rather than comparing it with state of the art, you can compare it with the CPUs and GPUs. I think that would be slightly easier. So yeah, this is one of the project that can be in your resume that might stand out as compared to uh, what others are doing. Then there can be a standard project on RISC-V. You are doing something with RISC-V processor, and yeah. Apart from that, you can also target applications in uh, biology, like genomics and things like that, or like making designs for genomics, or you can target applications for signal processing, or like there are n number of applications, but you have to be specific about what application you are targeting. And for that application, if you can come up with something new, then it will be really unique in your CV.
Okay, so do you think that being at IIT Gandhinagar helped you in cracking Nvidia? Because if you talk about research projects and the course related to these subjects, were obviously, quite helpful in your journey, because in other colleges these type of courses are not taught in a well designed manner. And the projects you were talking, like all the projects which you have added in your resume, mostly were research projects which you did in collaboration with, I think, one of our professors. So if someone is from tier 3 college, how should they go about it? Because they don't have access to such good courses in their college, they don't have access to good peers, they don't have access to good professors. So yes, I know that it will be a bit difficult for them, but they are just relying on online resources, right? So by just seeing online resources, how can they build projects?
Okay, so as you said that since IIT Gandhinagar has a very good research profile, so I was fortunate enough to work with Professor Joycey throughout my BTech. So answering the question, there can be two ways. Uh, One is like you can look to connect with a professor from an IIT or NIT or triple IT and work with them in their research projects or any of their good projects. So in like you can work with the professor uh, online, so it's not necessary that you have to be present physically at the institute. You during your semester also you can work with the professor. So it will be definitely some extra burden on you, but um, yeah, it will be really helpful to crack companies like Nvidia. So yeah, that can be one of the ways to go about it. Or um, if you yeah, if you are really not able to find any such opportunity, then I think it's important to have a very good hold on the standard projects of computer architecture, like designing a pipeline processor, or designing simulator for cache and things like that. So if you have done that, then that is also good enough. So for getting your resume shortlisted, once your resume is shortlisted, then like if someone has done excellent research versus you have done only standard projects, it doesn't really matter again. So if you are doing those standard projects, at least you should know each and everything about the project, because any person interviewing you will definitely know more than that thing then you yourself know, because those are the things which are pretty standard. So
Right.
you have to be really, really clear about what you have done in your project and how you have done.
Yeah, and the thing which you told that students from tier 3 or tier 2 colleges can connect with good professors in India, and the best way I think to connect is to cold email, or
Exactly.
you can either message them on LinkedIn. What you can do is you can make a list of top 50 colleges of India and list down the professors there, and you can see their background if they're working in topics related to VLSI design or computer architecture, and then you can message them. Definitely they will reply. If you will mail 100 people, two or three professors will definitely reply you. So obviously it is a bit of hard work, but if you want to crack a company like Nvidia, you will have to do that, right?
Yeah,
And one more question, that according to you, what one thing you did right in college which helped you land off campus placement at Nvidia?
I think after my second year, I was decided on what career path I want to choose, and after that, I didn't look behind. Like, why did I take a certain decision? And there are some better options or anything like that. So I was completely focused on, okay, I want to do computer architecture, VLSI design, and in intersection with machine learning. So I completely devoted my entire time in that path, and I think that's something which stood out for me as compared to others.
That is a very, very good answer, because people are not able to decide what they want to do in their career. In first year, they think that okay, we'll crack a SD job. Then in second year, they see people doing good in ML, they switch to ML. Then in third year, they will see someone else, they will start doing that. So people get lot of influence from others, and that is where they're not able to succeed, because I think if you go in just one direction, you will definitely get success, which
Yeah,
is I think you have done. I have not seen you doing anything else apart from this. So that was a very, very good answer, that you actually chose what you want to do. And I think advice for juniors would be that only, that if you are in your first or second year, choose what you want to do. If you want to grab a placement, just focus on that. If you want to go for master, just focus on that. If you want to do photography, just focus on that. So that is a very, very good answer. And one more thing, that what advice would you like to give to juniors who are in first year, second year, or even third year? What they should be doing in order to they become successful in their careers?
I think don't be very serious. Like,
Okay.
just just go and enjoy your time in your college. Like, explore all sorts of things. Yeah, of course, once you are doing something, you should be very passionate about whatever you are doing, because I don't think anything is possible without passion.
Hmm.
So whatever you are doing, do it with, give it your 100%. And once you are giving your 100%, I don't think anything can stop you from being successful. So yeah, that's something that I would like to tell. Like, be passionate about your work. Be passionate about whatever you are doing. Like, even if you like playing something, be passionate about playing.
Right,
So
right.
it's not like you won't be studying 12 or 16 hours in the college like you are doing it in during your JE time. So you will be playing, you will be singing or whatever your passion is. But be passionate about whatever you are doing and enjoy your life. Don't take it very seriously.
Cool, cool, cool. That was a great advice from you, Rajesh. Thank you so much, Rajesh, for coming. I hope that everyone would have enjoyed watching this podcast and would have definitely gained something from it. Many congratulations to you, and all the best for your tenure at Nvidia. That's all for this video, guys. I will meet you in the next one. Till then, keep learning, keep growing, and stay healthy.